Unless you say that you don't want to do this, after you die, your loved ones could technically ask the doctor to electrocute your prostate to force you to produce sperm. Talk about a deadbeat dad. Studies have shown that people with dark eyes are more prone to seasonal depression than people with light eyes. If you ever get a blood transfusion but accidentally get the wrong blood type, one of the symptoms is a sense of impending doom.
Did you know that when falling from extreme heights and landing, the human body doesn't splat? Actually, it bounces. There goes my hopes of becoming a human pancake. Hello, and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. If you sneeze hard enough, you could break a rib, but if you try to suppress your sneeze, you could potentially rupture a blood vessel in your head or neck. But who needs blood vessels anyway? Like and follow for more.
These fun facts aren't really that fun. Most dentures in the 1800s were made out of the teeth of dead soldiers. There's a part of Mount Everest called Rainbow Valley, and it's named that because of all the colorful coats of the dead people scattered around. In 1933, Dr. Carl Tanzler raided the tomb of a female patient that he was obsessed with, stole her body, and then lived with the corpse for 7 years! Like, this body was literally falling apart and he had to try and keep it together with, like, coat hangers and shit. And the only reason he was caught was because somebody saw him through an open window dancing with it.
I'm starting a series called Not So Fun Facts, where I scare people into caring about the climate crisis. Not so fun fact number 1. Our ice caps are melting, but who cares about that? Well, in these ice caps are viruses and bacteria that have been tucked away, frozen for thousands of years. As these ice caps melt away, we will slowly be getting exposed. Scientists have taken these viruses and placed them in living cells to see if they're still active, and they are active. The only thing we know for sure is pox viruses and anthrax will be apparent, and the rest scientists consider Pandora's box.
Oysters used to be my favorite food until I found out that they're actually served alive. They don't die until you eat them. Now they're like top 3. In the 1800s, you could bring your dog or cat to the London Zoo and have them pay for your price of admission. And all you had to do was feed your pet to the lions. According to Japanese legend, if you have senpaku eyes, meaning that if the whites from below or above your iris show naturally, this means that you're meant to die early.
Animal facts that you're not going to believe until you Google it. Chimpanzees in Uganda have been known to get turned off alcohol from breweries and proceed to kidnap and eat human babies. Because for some reason, chimpanzees will confuse human children with the red colobus, which is one of their favorite things to eat. If you see giraffes getting freaky, there's a 90% chance it's between 2 guys. Although I assume some of this is consensual, most of the time it's an older giraffe trying to assert his authority on a younger giraffe male, like a long-necked Sandusky. Giraffes are very gay, and if they had Twitter, half of them would get cancelled for grooming. This crab can growl, and they do it by using the teeth in their stomach. Basically, they grind the teeth in their stomachs to create a sound that intimidates predators and enemies. They're called ghost crabs because they can blend perfectly into sand. If an alligator and a manatee pull up on each other underwater, the alligator will give the manatee the right of way. The manatee will gently bump and nudge the gator, and the overgrown murder gecko that strikes fear in the hearts of anyone that isn't in Florida politely moves out the way. Alligators have no regard for human life, but they do care about the sea potato. Elephants in South Africa have started cosbying rhinos and killing them afterwards. And it's low-key our fault. The threat of poaching causes them to act out. For some reason, they take it out on an African unicorn that was just minding his own business. More facts that we really just shouldn't know. The male Antechinus will do the deed for 14 hours straight until his body disintegrates and he experiences post-nut clarity in the afterlife. How and why did we acquire such knowledge? Like, did a bunch of people take shifts watching them go at it? Or did some poor bastard supervise a 14-hour hump session by himself? I love animals, but not enough for that. You probably already know that sea otters are baby-faced Bundys. You might even know that they violate baby seals. But sea otters believe in the worst kind of equality because literally anything can get it. Which is why if you ever see a sea otter really attached to a stuffed animal, it's probably because they're necrophiles. Ravaging something lifeless and unresponsive is nothing new to them, and I should not know that. Human meat looks like beef, but it tastes so much like veal that the average person wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I feel like I committed a felony just by knowing that. There is literally no legal reason why anyone should have that kind of information. I don't know how many people got put on a t-shirt for whoever said this to say it so confidently, but I am now one Google search away from getting sniped by the NSA.
Black bears eat their prey alive and ass first. There's about 300,000 black bears in the US right now. Only 4 states in America have outlawed child marriage: New Jersey, Delaware, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania. Everywhere else it's perfectly legal as long as you have the parents' consent. If you die in your home, your pets will not hesitate to eat you.
Dad's yummy.
Did you know that in ancient England, people used to use hollowed out human skulls to drink and eat? Tasty. Hello and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. There's a species of fish called the sheep's head fish that have human-like teeth. If I ever caught a fish like this, I'd probably start crying on the spot. It's actually possible for rats to entangle themselves in clumps of hair, dirt, tails, and blood to form something called a rat king. I definitely don't recommend googling what a rat king looks like. Like and follow for more.
For animal testing involving dogs, most laboratories use beagles because they've been shown to be the most forgiving of people that inflict pain on them, and now I want to cry. If a grizzly bear has a single cub, it'll abandon it in hopes that next year it'll get 2, maybe even 3 cubs. Stephen Hawking, the guy who made detailed studies of black holes even possible, died a little over a year before the first picture of a black hole was ever taken. Search and rescue dogs on 9/11 were getting so sad from finding a bunch of dead bodies that the human helpers had to bury themselves underneath the rubble just so the dogs could find them and be happy. The #1 cause of death among pregnant women is murder. Well, the reason you're supposed to go to the doctor if your erection lasts longer than 4 hours is because it can cause gangrene of the dick, where your tissue literally turns black and dies. But don't worry, doctors treat this by getting a big syringe and sucking all the blood out.
Did you know that some people are born with extra nipples or extra breasts and they can develop anywhere from the armpits to the upper thighs? Hello and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. After being dead for about 4 days, the human body begins to swell up like a balloon. 1 needle and you're dead. Oh, wait. Like and follow for more.
These fun facts are not fun at all. Acting out your dreams while you sleep is a strong indicator that you're actually developing some neurodegenerative disorder like Parkinson's or Lewy body dementia. Hitler actually admired a couple things about America: the way we treated Native Americans on the Trail of Tears and the eugenics movement where we started the sterilization of women of color. There's a genetic disease called FOP, also known as the human statue disease, where your muscles and tissues start to turn to bone, and eventually it gets so bad that you have to decide whether you want to be frozen sitting down or standing up.
Did you know that it's possible to be scared to death? When your fight or flight response is initiated, adrenaline is pumped into your blood and can be toxic if too much is pumped into your heart unchecked. Having the crap scared out of you is also possible. I speak from experience. Hello and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. Vomiting your own feces is an actual phenomenon, and it's caused by a bowel obstruction that draws feces into the stomach. I don't know about you, but I've heard quite a few people who spew some pretty weird shit. Like and follow for more. Did you know that you're more likely to be murdered by someone you know than a stranger? In that case, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jack and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. Believe it or not, foreskin is sometimes used to grow skin for those that need skin transplants. Coincidentally, eating human flesh isn't that bad for you. In fact, eating cooked human flesh isn't any more dangerous for you than eating the cooked flesh of other animals. Like and follow for more.
Migraines and strokes actually carry a lot of the same symptoms, so if you suffer from regular migraines, you might notice that one day you're actually just dying. The founder of Match.com lost his girlfriend to a man that she met on Match.com. In the United States, roughly a third of all the food is just thrown away. Why? Guys, if you're named after your father, like if you're John Jr. or some shit, your mom has probably moaned your name in bed. If you have a bank account with more than a penny in it, you are officially a part of the top 8% of the world's wealth. Any coffee that you have ever had has had cockroaches in it, because when they get the beans from Madagascar, they all live over there and it's gonna take too much time and effort to try and clean them all out. So you've been drinking roaches.
Did you know that there might be a dead body in the cargo space of the next airplane you fly in and you wouldn't even know? Hello and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, dentures were sometimes made out of dead soldiers' teeth. As you can imagine, they didn't last very long. Have you ever felt something so cold it felt hot? Some people who die of hypothermia are found naked because as their body temperature drops, they start to feel burning hot and strip off their clothes, leading to an even quicker death. Like and follow for more.
Surgeons used to operate on infants without anesthesia, like open heart surgeries and shit, because they thought that babies couldn't feel pain. They stopped it, thankfully, but they stopped it in the 80s. There was a dolphin that committed suicide after its handler got fired because it was jerking off the dolphin. The only part of your reflection that you can lick is your tongue. And this bothers me way more than it should. Like, go to the mirror and try it. I promise you, only your tongue.
Did you know that more retail workers have been murdered on the job than police officers in recent years? Hello and welcome to Not So Fun Facts with Jack, a series in which I tell you unsettling facts. You've probably heard of scurvy, but in case you haven't, it's a disease caused by a vitamin C deficiency. But did you know that it can cause old scars to reopen? This is because the body can't produce collagen, a protein found in connective tissue, to keep them shut. Like and follow for more.
Darkest fact about the cutest animals. Sea otters will 50 shades baby seals with a capital R. This non-consensual BDSM ritual involves the otter mauling the seal pup's face, just like they do to females, because this is the look of a furry Cosby. The mother tamarin will erase her own baby if she thinks it's a lost cause. This late-term abortion attempt involves either yeeting it out of a tree or biting its skull and eating part of its brain. If an emperor penguin loses her chick, she'll kidnap any unaccompanied minors and raise it as her own. For about 2 days. Because in a couple days or even a few hours, she'll get bored and abandon a chick to expire in the air-conditioned cemetery they call home. The pufferfish is toxic enough to put 30 men in headlines, and there's no antidote. If one catches you slipping, your only option is to get right with a higher being of your choice before you choke on your own vomit or your heart decides to retire. Hamsters will hibernate when they get cold, which leads them to get buried alive by stupid children that don't know any better. Also, they can be baby-killing cannibals. Speaking of F them kids, the coot will brutally delete its own children if they ask for food too often. Not even kidding, once they get tired of hearing the chicks beg for food, they snap their necks. They just wake up one day and choose spawn wipe.
Not so fun facts to completely ruin your day. Koala bears are probably gonna go extinct soon, considering that 90% of them have chlamydia, and they have chlamydia because they eat each other's shit. The average adult has about 10 pounds of organisms living in and on you that are considered not you. There is no guarantee that the universe just won't end in 5 seconds. I guess we're safe for now. These fun facts are not fun at all. There are more slaves today than at any other point in history, and in fact, it's a $150 billion industry. In World War I, thousands of dogs were taken from their families for the war effort, but when the war was over, they were all just shot because it was cheaper than trying to find their homes. There's a plant in Australia called the gimpy gimpy that makes you want to kill yourself. When horses brush up against this bush, they literally throw themselves from a cliff because they would rather die than feel the pain. Netflix turned me into a cartoon.
Not so fun facts that will ruin your day. After you die, your brain remains active for up to 10 minutes. But in your head, those 10 minutes can last years. And it is said that in those 10 minutes you live your life again. Maybe you are already dead and you are in those 10 minutes. It was illegal to mail children in packages from 1913 to 1920. The youngest girl to ever give birth was 5 years old. Just imagine the pain.
Here are some not so fun facts that you'll wish you never knew. There is a whale named Blue 52 that calls at such a high frequency that no other whale species, as far as we know, can hear it. This means that it will probably die alone. Like you! I'm kidding. But you know what's not a joke? The fact that when whales and dolphins get too old and weak to swim up to the surface anymore, they just fall into the depths of the ocean and drown. Whales and dolphins drown. Oh, but don't think that humans are safe from disturbing facts either. Oh no! This last fact is going to ruin ice cream for you. But before I do that, press share, copy, link. It's really helping out. Thanks. Okay, castoreum is an anal secretion that beavers use to mark their territories. And it often contains beaver urine as well. Castoreum also happens to smell like vanilla. So it's been used in food and perfume for years. And not just ice cream, candy too. I'm sorry.
Not so fun facts to completely ruin your day. Criminals who are considered unattractive usually receive a 50% longer jail time sentence than everybody else. So, if you ever get caught committing a crime, you better hope that judge thinks you're cute. If the apocalypse was to ever actually happen, anybody who takes medication daily is just completely fucked. So occasionally the sun lets out these super massive bursts of plasma energy that could wipe out satellites, the power grid, and the internet for decades. And the only way to stop it is to see it ahead of time and then turn off everybody's power for a few days. On a brighter note, if this does happen, you'd be able to see the northern lights from anywhere.